Old Red Eyes by Technicolor. It was a black and stormy October night at the Apple family orchard. The kind of night where the wind and the rain beat down so hard it felt like nature itself, or at least the weather team, were out for blood. And the thunder boiled and roared so loud as no beast known to Equestria could hold a candle. These kinds of storms came about every so often. A scheduled rain had come at the same time as an errant thunderstorm out from Everfree, and the two mixed together into a great howling monster of a night that made sensible ponies stick indoors. Maybe it was just coincidence this came about the day after the final harvest, and the night before Nightmare Night. Maybe not. The Everfree was a mysterious thing, and it seemed as likely as not it had been waiting. A sharp gust howled and whipped through the orchard's trees, rattling the walls and the roof of the Cutie Mark Crusaders clubhouse. But the apples didn't build anything halfway. The clubhouse held, with only one leak, under which a bucket quietly collected water. The lower level was dark, but the attic window glowed against the dim with gentle yellow light. The Crusaders sat close around the lone lantern, their damp capes draped over their cosy blankets held tight around them. To the side, 3 sauce-smeared plates sat empty, with napkins and tinfoil wadded on top. Storm or no storm, they had resolved to spend the night at the clubhouse, telling scary stories and getting their costumes together. And come Tartarus or tartar sauce, a Cutie Mark Crusader stuck to her plans. And then, Sweetie Belle said, with all menace she could muster, just as she lied down to go to sleep, she hung her leg over the side of the bed, like she always did, and she felt something licking her hoof. Applebloom and Scootaloo watched her expectantly. Licking her hoof, she repeated. More blank stares. Oh, come on! Get it? Something licked her hoof. Scootaloo furrowed her brow. Okay. I guess that's icky, but it's not really that scary. I thought her dog ran away, said Applebloom. So, what, the dog just was hiding under the bed the whole time? Sweetie groaned. Yes! Her dog ran away! That's why it's scary! Applebloom rubbed her chin. I don't get it. If her dog didn't lick her hoof, then who did? Some pony creepy. That's why it's scary, said Sweetie, slumping. At least it scared me when Rarity told the story. Scootaloo sneered, wiping her hooves in her blanket. Blech. I feel slimy just thinking about it. Applebloom patted Sweetie Belle on the back sympathetically. I think you just needed some more build-up, that's all. I'm sure you'll get it next time. Yeah, said Scootaloo. Bloody hell, what's going on? Like you know what would have really made it tense? If the headless horse was in the house. Sweetie rolled her eyes. You already told us the headless horse story. I'm just saying. That would have made it way scarier. Nuh-uh, said Sweetie. Yeah, said Scootaloo. Why not? 'Cause you've told it like 800 times. Scootaloo raised an eyebrow. Yeah? And? It's the scariest one. Come to think of it, said Applebloom. How's the headless horse gonna lick her hoof anyway? It's got nothing to lick with. Ugh, whatever. Scootaloo folded her legs, hunkering down on the floorboards. Well, if my story wasn't scary and Sweetie's wasn't scary, then how about you tell us one? Applebloom twisted her mouth in thought, eyes turned up to the roof. A peal of thunder boomed overhead, rattling the windows and the boards of the roof as it rolled above them. Sweetie tensed and scooted closer to the lantern. Well, she said, I don't reckon I have one. What do you mean you don't have one? Asked Scootaloo. You have to have one. It's your turn. I mean, just that. All the scary stories I know are true, she said matter-of-factly. Sweetie swallowed. But scary stories aren't supposed to be true. That's why I said I don't have a scary story. Applebloom frowned, settling down. I just know, scary things. About the Everfree and the orchard and stuff. Scootaloo tugged her blanket closer. Yeah, right. Not buying it. I mean it, said Applebloom. Granny Smith tells all these things, sometimes keep me safe, and she wouldn't lie. It's okay, Applebloom. Grown-ups tell stories, said Sweetie Belle. It's normal for them. Rarity tells stories, Mum tells stories, and Dad tells all kinds of stories. Well, apples don't, Applebloom said. It hung in the air for a moment as she settled back down, tracing her hoof on the grain of the flooring. There's enough scary stuff out there without needing to make stuff up about it. She tells me. I believe that you believe it, Scootaloo said, though she was still squirming. So, tell us? Yeah, Sweetie smiled, nudging herself over to Applebloom's side. What's Nightmare Night without a little fright? Okay, said Applebloom, briefly returning the smile. Well, I guess I could tell you about all Red Eyes. Scootaloo stifled down her huff of indignation at Sweetie's glance, letting their friend continue. The way Granny tells it, Red Eyes isn't something that probably came out Everfree after Ponyville got settled and the apples started planting down and growing for the townsfolk, she said. She didn't know what he or she is, or even if there's a proper name for him, but she knows it's a him because she's seen him so many times, lurking in the darkness of the trees, just waiting for lone ponies to snatch. Wait a second, said Scootaloo. If he snatches ponies alone, how come any pony knows about him? 'Cause she got away from him herself once. Says it's a celestial-given miracle she did, she said. It was when she was real young, not that long after the first Zap Apple harvest, when all the trees were still bare till next year, just waiting to shed the rest of their leaves. Night was kind of like this, actually, just about the rain. But it was real windy and real dark, with clouds covering up the moon. She took a breath before continuing, eyes fixed on the lantern. She was just out for a walk. The Timberwolves were still trying to take back the territory and all back then, so she had to watch out, especially when it was so black out. And as she went walking, she heard this sound nearby. Rustle, cracky sounds, like some pony was breaking branches off. But when she looked, she didn't see anything. Just trees getting blown by the wind. So she kept on going. But the sound followed her, all rattling and crackling. So, she started going quicker, making a loop back for home, and it still followed her. Applebloom reached over and tapped the lantern. A firefly inside woke up, adding its glow. She saw the lights on at home, started running. Didn't even listen anymore to what she was making. When she finally turned to look again, and in one tree, she saw a couple apples. Sweetie Belle cocked her head, glancing between the two. Applebloom looked earnest, but Scootaloo was shifting, silently avoiding eye contact. What's so weird about apples? I just told you at the beginning. The harvest had just ended, said Applebloom. There weren't supposed to be any apples. Oh. That's why she took to call him Old Red Eyes. See, that's when you look out for. If there's too many apples in the tree, or there's any apples left after harvest, you'll go and run indoors, and you lock your windows, and you don't open anything at all till the daylight. That's what she did, and she just barely made it. By the time she turned around and bolted for the door, he almost got her tail. God, if I may get the chills. What? Scootaloo said, then cleared her throat. What did, Red Eye or whatever look like? She didn't see much, Applebloom admitted. Like I said, it was dark as dark gets, but she said once she came out of that tree, she saw big, big eyes, red as blood. He looked kind of like a big stallion, but he didn't quite move like a stallion, you know? She frowned. She said he ran like a spider. Too many joints for a body like that. God, I'm getting major grudge vibes. Ugh. Sweetie had almost completely retreated into her blanket at this point, being just a pair of green eyes and a shaking horn sticking out the bundle. But she got away, right? She got inside. The monster didn't get her. Applebloom rolled her eyes. No, sweetie. Granny got caught and I don't exist. Sweetie flinched, and then realising she'd been had, she poked her head out and made a face. That's so not funny. No, it ain't, said Applebloom, 'cause she almost did. She said he was so close she could smell his breath, all rotten and mouldy. Yeah, okay, we get it. He was spooky. But then what happened? Said Scootaloo. Sweetie nudged herself back around to her side, quietly trying to calm her shakes. Applebloom shrugged. Then nothing. She didn't see him in the shadows. She didn't hear him roaming around. She woke her ma and pa, but they didn't see anything either. She hasn't seen him since. So how do you know he's still out there? This is like 100 years ago. Because she ain't the only one who saw him. Applebloom's gaze fell down to the floor. And not every pony was so lucky, you know. Every generation, give or take, some pony goes missing out in the orchard after dark. And once or twice, there have been bones stashed out in a rotten tree. And even I think I've found them before. Oh, what the hey, Applebloom? Scootaloo threw off her blanket, pushing up to her hooves. Calm down, Scootaloo, Sweetie said. Please, it's just a story. No, scary stories are fine, whatever, but this is messed up. Telling us all like it's real and lying like that. I ain't lying, she yelled, voice cracking. Granny wouldn't tell lies, and of course she would. It's a story made up to get you to keep your windows locked or something. But you're telling us you found pony bones out there? It ain't lies. Applebloom stood up suddenly. I don't do that. You know I don't. Said Sweetie Belle, chucking back tears. Girls, please stop fighting. Scooter looked at Sweetie. She still felt a twist of anger in her stomach, but she took a deep breath and started pacing, trying to let it uncoil. Applebloom sat down next to the shivering Sweetie and pulled her into a gentle hug, rubbing her back until the tears dried off. And for a moment, everything was quiet, the only sound being the thunderstorm outside, cracking through the trees, high wind and cold rain pressing up against the warm little clubhouse. Messed up, mumbled Scootaloo. So messed up. It's true, Applebloom mumbled, and they both went quiet, neither of them wanting to escalate that again. Scootaloo continued pacing, twitching her wings every so often and taking deep breaths. She looked at the attic window, which gazed out over the eastern orchard. There was hardly any light coming through the storm, but she could see shapes and silhouettes, trees as far as the eye could see, and somewhere out there, the dim glow of the Apple household, which was sure to start going dark soon. "I'll prove it," she said, going over to the window. "There is no red eyes. This is stupid." Hey, hey! Applebloom got up, almost dropping Sweetie. "What are you doing?" Scootaloo flicked the lock and pushed up the bottom pane, leaning outside. The wind howled through the hole and blasted their cheeks, forcing her eyes shut. "Hello! Red eyes!" she shouted, squeezing her eyes even tighter. "You out there? Come on, fresh filly, right over here." After a second, whimpering under her breath, she cracked them open, and in spite of herself, let out a sigh of relief. Sure enough, even through the stinging rain, she didn't see a single monster. The only red she saw were all the ordinary apples sitting peacefully in their trees. No eyes. She yelped as Applebloom jerked her back in by the tail, causing her to hit the ground with a thud. "Ow, jeez, are you trying to rip it off?" Scootaloo stumbled back up, turning around to face them with a nervous but apologetic smile. "See? Nothing to be afraid of, girls." But they weren't looking at her. They were frozen solid, staring behind her at the open window. Scootaloo felt warm air against the back of her neck. It smelled sickly sweet, like mouldy old apples. Okay, that's it, and that's a major cringe fest in my case. Thanks for watching.